Welcome to Season 8 of the Finding Peace podcast. This season is focused on practical, trauma-informed tools you can use in everyday life. When emotions run high, relationships feel heavy, or your nervous system needs support. Short episodes designed to help you find more peace, joy, and connection, one moment at a time. Please welcome the host of the Finding Peace podcast, best-selling author, psychotherapist, and speaker, Troy L. Love.
Okay, I'll admit it. I love true crime. I don't know exactly why, but I think it goes back to my love of mysteries. Since middle school, I was devouring Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes, and my favorite board game growing up was Clue. And honestly, this is a little embarrassing. When I was 14, all I wanted for Christmas was a trench coat. And somehow Santa delivered. I put that thing on and walked around the neighborhood, convinced that people thought I was a spy or a detective or worked for the FBI or something. I laugh when I think about that now. So I've loved mysteries for a long time. And true crime provides an endless supply of mysteries. But one part of true crime that really fascinates me is listening to 911 calls. Not the crimes themselves, but the calls. There's a moment that shows up again and again that always catches my attention. The dispatcher says, "Calm down." And every time I hear it, I'm struck by how often it doesn't work. In fact, it often does the opposite. The caller becomes more frantic, more panicked, more hysterical, not because they're being difficult, but because something important is happening in their nervous system. You can't command someone into calm when their body is sensing danger. You cannot command a nervous system into safety. Calm isn't an instruction. Calm is an outcome. We treat calm like a switch, like a moral achievement, like something you should be able to summon if you're doing the work. But calm doesn't really work like that. Your nervous system doesn't respond to orders. It responds to cues. Safety cues, threat cues, connection cues, abandonment cues, any of those attachment wound cues. So when you tell yourself or someone else to calm down, what often happens is this. The nervous system is already activated. Calm down implies a should. You should be calm. And as we know, shooting on ourselves creates shame. Shame signals danger. Danger escalates activation. So the very phrase meant to help actually increases the threat. So let's talk about the inner version of this. You're anxious. Your chest is tight. Your thoughts are racing. And you think, why am I still like this? I should be past this by now. Just calm down already. That's not really self-regulation. That's self-rejection. And your nervous system hears rejection as risk. So instead of settling, it says, oh, and we're not safe, and we're wrong for feeling this way. And now the system has two jobs, managing the original stress and defending against the shame. No wonder why we escalate. So here's a replacement question. What would help my system feel 5% safer right now? Just 5%. Not calm, not fixed, not resolved, just 5% safer. That question can do three powerful things. It respects the current state of where we are. It removes urgency, and it invites collaboration instead of control. Sometimes when we ask, what would help my system feel just a little safer right now? The answer would be slower breathing, breathing from our diaphragm. Or the answer might be standing up and shaking out my arms. Or putting my feet on the ground, taking my shoes off, going and standing out in the grass, wrapping myself in a blanket, texting somebody safe, calling a friend, naming what I'm feeling out loud, naming what I need right now. None of those are commands, they're invitations. So here are some situations where people are often told to calm down. You're in an argument with a significant other, and your significant other says something like, "You're overreacting, just calm down." Or, "Let's talk about this when you're calmer." Or, "Why are you getting so emotional?" What we hear when that is said is, "My feelings are too much. I'm not safe to be authentic and real here." Maybe at work, a manager says in a meeting when somebody is passionate that they need to calm down. Or maybe a colleague says it during a tense email exchange. Or maybe HR suggests it during a performance conversation. But when that is said in the workplace, what the nervous system hears is being emotional here is dangerous. And we're actually told not to bring your emotions to work, which is not really something we can do, but okay. Perhaps we see it in a romantic relationship. One partner is crying or feeling anxious, and the other says, "Relax, you just need to calm down." What the nervous system hears is, "I'm alone with this. You can't handle me." Maybe a child is having a meltdown in the middle of the grocery store. Maybe your teenager is upset because they can't have something that they really want right now. And so the parent says, "Calm down, or you're going to your room." What the nervous system hears is big feelings equal loss of connection. Maybe you are in labor as a woman and the nurse says, "Try to calm down." Or you're in the emergency room and the nurse says, "You're safe, calm down." Or during panic symptoms, you're said, "Well, I don't know what's wrong." You're like, "Your vitals are fine." What the nervous system hears is you're not being believed. And unfortunately, sometimes in therapy, the therapist might say, "Let's slow this down. You're getting too activated." Now, I don't think there's a problem with saying, "Let's slow this down," but the part where it says, "You're getting too activated," or "You need to regulate before we can move forward." What the nervous system hears is, "I'm failing at therapy." When a man experiences sadness or fear and shares it, that can be labeled as being too intense. Or when they get angry, "You need to calm down. You need to get control. You need to take care of your emotions." What the nervous system hears is emotion equals danger of rejection. If a woman is being emotional, she's having a hard day, it's been really stressful, things are going out, she will probably be labeled as dramatic, hormonal, or emotional. And then the information is conveyed that you just need to calm down. What the nervous system hears is your voice isn't welcome here. And then when our shadows of shame show up and say, "You are being too upset. You're being stupid. You need to calm down. You shouldn't feel this way. What's going on with you? You're an idiot." Well, what the nervous system hears is, "I'm not even safe with myself." So instead of using the word calm down, maybe another expression might work better. For example, it might be, "I'm here with you." That makes sense. What would help right now? We don't have to fix this immediately. You're not alone with this. These are safety cues, not commands. And here's the part most people miss. Regulation is relational, even when we're by ourselves, because the way that our shadows speak to ourselves is still a relationship. Our nervous system doesn't care if the voice is external or internal. It cares whether the tone is safe. Harsh voices escalate. Curious voices settle. Gentle voices widen capacity. So the real shift isn't how do I calm down? It's how do I stay connected to myself when I'm activated? Connection precedes calm. Nearly every time. So the next time you feel overwhelmed or you're tempted to tell somebody to calm down, pause and ask instead, what would help this system feel just a little safer right now? Because calm isn't something we force. It's something that emerges when safety is finally felt. Until next time, keep choosing connection over control. And remember, you are enough.
You've been listening to the Finding Peace podcast. Special thanks to Intrex for providing the theme music for this season and helping set the tone for reflection, grounding, and hope. If this episode supported you, please like, subscribe, and share the Finding Peace podcast. Your support helps these practical, trauma-informed tools reach more people who are seeking peace, clarity, and connection. To explore more resources, workshops, and upcoming events, visit findingpeaceconsulting.com. The Finding Peace podcast is hosted by best-selling author, psychotherapist, and speaker Troy L. Love. Until next time, remember, you are worthy of love and belonging.